Good afternoon, good Erev Shabbos, and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day number 153, part 3, using the Sefer Hachinuch. A Mitzvah Day keeps your soul on its way, and once again entitled, The Obligation to Check Domestic and Wild Animals for Kosher Signs. Among the laws of this mitzvah is that any domestic or wild animal that chews its cud has no front teeth in its upper jaw. Also, any animal in the world that chews its cud has split hooves as well, except for the camel, for although the camel chews its cud, it does not have properly split hooves. Also, any animal that has split hooves chews its cud, except for the pig, for although the pig has split hooves, it does not chew its cud. Right? All those animals that have those two signs are kosher. Right? It's, again, split hooves and chews its cud. The Chinuch lists the species of kosher animals. There are 10 species in total among the domestic and wild animals that are permitted for consumption. 3 of these are the well-known species of domestic animals, namely the ox, sheep, and goat, and the other 7 are species of wild animals that are enumerated in Scripture, in Deuteronomy: the hart, deer, etc., and the yachmar, the akka, the dishon, the tio, and the zemer. Chinuch now digresses from the subject of the current mitzvah to discuss a related idea: the need for signs to distinguish between domestic and wild animals. Now, just as we need to know the signs of kosher animals to distinguish them from those that are not kosher, so too we need to know which animals is a domestic species and which is a wild species with respect to the animal's chalev. Right? So chalev is the prohibition of chalev, forbidden fats, applies only to the 3 species listed in the verse, the oxen, the sheep, and goats, which are domestic animals and not to wild animals. This is because the chalev of a domestic animal is forbidden, while the chalev of a wild animal is permitted, as is written above in the mitzvah that discusses the prohibition of chalev, which is 147. Furthermore, we need to be able to distinguish between domestic and wild animals with respect to the mitzvah of covering the animal's blood, kisu edam, for the blood of wild animals must be covered with earth when they are slaughtered, but not the blood of domestic animals. So you have to know this. The Chinuch discusses the signs of a kosher wild animal. Now, the signs of a wild animal that distinguish it from a domestic animal are not stated in the Torah. However, we have learned based on the oral tradition that the classification of the animal is discernible by way of its horns. That is, the horns of a wild animal are distinct in their form, for they are formed as follows. They are layered, grooved, and rounded. The Chinuch explains what this means. Layered like the horns of an ox, grooved like the horns of a goat, but to be classified as grooved horns, the grooves must be such that they merge into one another. Rounded like the horns of a deer. Therefore, any animal that does not have these signs in its horns is assumed to be a domestic animal, and hence a person is obligated to treat its chalev as forbidden. All right, we're really in the home stretch, but it's getting late, so we'll stop here. To be continued, God willing, Motzi Shabbos. Have a wonderful Shabbos. And to sponsor a future mitzvah, 36, 100 for the gold. Have a great day.